State Governor Omo of Akwa Ibom State has decided to leave the PDP. This is not a new story. He had said it, made the point known earlier on that he was going to leave. And now finally he said he's leaving and has ordered his commissioners and political appointees to follow him or leave the government. But the question still remains, why are they leaving the PDP? Are they going to be of value to the APC presidential candidate, that is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? This is The Other Side. My name is Rumande Shawulu. Governor Eno did not just say that he is leaving. He made it very clear that all those who will not follow him to the APC should leave his government. And the sore point that he made also was that, as reported by the Vanguard newspaper, that nobody should think of using the PDP to oppose him because he will also keep controlling the PDP from the APC. What does that tell us about the character of Nigerian politicians and what they intend to do with this democracy that some people went to jail for, fought the military so that we could have freedom of choice? Now the governor of Akwa Ibom State is saying that he has moved over to the APC but will still keep controlling the PDP. Why are these people leaving the PDP at this time? Some of the excuses they have given include the allegation that there is no internal democracy in the PDP and that the PDP is no longer a viable vehicle for them to win the next elections. And like the former governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa did say, one of the reasons why he is leaving is that it is only fair that power remains in the South. But who said that the PDP is not going to nominate a candidate to run for its presidential flag from the South? Or is Okowa saying that he is not qualified to run the presidential ticket of the PDP? And we do know that PDP is suffering today, bleeding, because of reasons which people who are in PDP today have given those who are fleeing the party. It will be recalled that in the 2011 and 2015 election cycle, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's claim to the presidential ticket of the PDP is that it is the turn of the South. And so it is no wonder today that some people from the South are still saying that it is the turn of the South because President Muhammadu Buhari had exhausted the 8 years time that the North should be in power. As they say, what goes round comes round. The campaign that was used to take out President Goodluck Jonathan in 2014 is coming back to haunt the PDP. And it is interesting to know, purely speculation, if Vice President Atiku Abubakar had been patient with President Goodluck Jonathan, he may probably have been the president today, because President Goodluck Jonathan would have ended his political sojourn in power in 2019. And there is no reason to believe that he would have sought for a third term, and he would have preferred to have someone that supported him to become the president of Nigeria. And the biggest beneficiary, if Vice President Atiku Abubakar had supported President Goodluck Jonathan, would have been Vice President Atiku Abubakar. But as we can see, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu seems to be wiser. All along, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wanted to become president of Nigeria, but he knew that he could not have won the elections in 2011, 2015, or even 2019. He needed a vehicle to help him win, and he used the ambition of President Muhammadu Buhari to climb to power. But Vice President Atiku Abubakar was not patient enough or did not understand the game well enough to have known that had he supported President Goodluck Jonathan, probably, as people say, today he may have been the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The second question, which to my mind, which people have raised, and I think very unfairly, against the APC, is the accusation that the APC is manipulating the PDP and other opposition parties to weaken them so that it will win the next election. I think it is an unfair allegation. My mind works this way. Every political party seeks to weaken its opponent, the opposing political party, to win elections. You go to draw out their members, to get members who will not be loyal to that party to win election. And PDP did it against previous opposition political parties. And there is nothing in my mind wrong in APC applying the same method, trying to weaken the PDP by enticing PDP members with force or even genuine promises so that it will remain strong. It is politics, stupid politics you may say, but it is still politics that everywhere in the world, political parties seek to weaken opposition political parties to enable them win elections. And so saying that the APC should not make any attempt to weaken the PDP is like saying that the APC should not be a political party after all. And in any case, who has stopped the PDP from enticing members of the APC and weakening the APC so that it will also win political power? However, the fact of the matter is that President Tinubu's declared bid to empty the opposition political parties of their members is a sign of weakness and not of strength. And it's also a sign that if the opposition parties put their acts together, they can comfortably defeat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC in the coming elections. Yes, the president ought to be afraid of the other political parties, especially the prospects of them coming together. Because if you look at the election statistics, that is the 2023 elections, you will see that only 27% of people on the voters list came out to vote in that election. And of the 27% that came out to vote, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu scored only 37% of the votes. That means, statistically, that he is the first person that won the elections with the least votes that Nigerians give to any political party. If you take the votes scored by Vice President Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Peter Obi, a former vice presidential candidate of the PDP in the 2019 election and Labour Party's presidential candidate of the 2023 elections, you will have altogether about 13 million votes scored by the PDP that split itself into two parties. The APC of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu scored only 8 million, meaning that if the opposition parties had just done their homework well, they would have won the elections, and today we will not be talking about them dying. It is because they refuse to be political, to act the way they should act, that they lost the elections. Why did they not come together? We go back to what we said before. What goes round comes round. In 2015, Vice President Atiku Abubakar and some people, including Senator Bukola Saraki, former governor of Kwara State, and on the platform of the PDP, teamed up together with 5 other governors to abandon President Goodluck Jonathan on the premise that it was not the turn of the South to be president in 2015. And they succeeded. And then in 2023, Governor Nyesom Wike and some other PDP governors, 5 of them, teamed up together and said it was not the turn of the North to take over from President Muhammadu Buhari, and they worked against Vice President Atiku Abubakar and defeated Atiku Abubakar. And today we have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president. So what goes round comes round. Like I said, the strategy of emptying the other political parties is a sign of weakness and not of strength. It is a sign that the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are afraid that if there's a contest, they will not win the elections, which is why they want to have an election in which the only contestant will be President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The president is a seasoned politician, I believe, and a strategist, as most of his people have said. The president does know very well that a lot of the people who are decamping to him today were not able to deliver their states for the PDP in 2023 elections. And as a matter of fact, many of them became governors simply because they contested on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. If you take away the PDP, they are unlikely to win elections in their states. And so the president knows, as a strategist, it is my opinion and contention, that he is not taking those people into APC because they are going to give him votes. They will not give him votes. He knows that very well. All he wants is that they will help him to ensure that the PDP does not have a viable candidate, so that it will be a no contest election in 2027. Furthermore, some of the issues that we hear on the social media are the rumors that the next election will not be election that is free and fair, that election results will simply be written. And some of these governors, if you read the implications of some of the comments made by Governor Omo of Akwa Ibom State, he is looking for a party that will help him win election. The PDP has always won elections in Akwa Ibom State. There is no election that PDP has not won in Akwa Ibom State. Why is the governor now saying that he wants a party that will help him win election, if it is merely on the strength of people's vote counting? I think the speculation there is that election results will be written. So if he does not join the APC, election results will be written against him. One temptation that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should make sure he does not fall into is the fact that destiny beckons on him to be a statesman, to be remembered as somebody who changed Nigeria's political fortunes for good. One of the things that he must not do is to tamper with the electoral process and remove the gains, the small gains that were made in electoral reforms. Electoral reforms that were initiated by President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, implemented by President Goodluck Jonathan, and provided the avenue for the All People's Congress to win elections in 2015. Now, if we make the mistake of reversing these gains and writing the election results, we will be jeopardizing not just the political process, but the whole of Nigeria. And this is a temptation that the president should not fall into. All the stories that we hear on the social media and from political activists and participants is that the next election results will be written. The president should ensure that that does not happen, because that would not do him or the country well. Secondly, the president still has over 1 year to make good the promises that he made to Nigerians. Of course, we've had a lot of things have been said, that a lot of achievements have been made by his government, but it is necessary for him to prove his critics wrong by ensuring that his achievements are translated from the paper and the radio stations and the TV stations that they're being broadcast to the dining tables of Nigerians and the pockets of Nigerians. If he does this, Nigerians will troop up to vote for him, and there will be no need for him to think of tampering with the electoral process to win elections. And this is very important, that Nigerians will vote for him, Nigerians will support him if there's an improvement in their pockets and on their dining tables. Thirdly, the point must be made that the president needs to ensure that the people running to him are not running to him to receive cover or forgiveness for any crimes that they may have committed against their people. Because doing so, well, does not even help those people. Because even if the president wins the elections in 2027, his tenure will inevitably end in 2031. And the crimes that were committed by those people who are running to him for cover do not have status of limitations. They will be brought up again, and they will still face the music somehow, someday. And there is no gain in him trying to cover them up. What is your opinion about the people who are decamping from the other political parties into the APC? Is it to cover their tracks, their crimes that they've committed? Or is it because they believe that elections will be rigged, and so if they don't enter the the APC, sorry, they will not win elections? And is it possible that the elections will be rigged and the electoral system will be manipulated and things will continue as normal? I would like to have your comments. I'd like to have your views on these matters. What are we really thinking of doing? What do we think will happen if there is no free and fair elections in 2027? Will these governors who are decamping to APC be able to deliver their states to the president, or the president just wants to have them, not because of the value that they bring, since many of them do not have electoral value as far as presidential election is concerned, as exemplified by what happened in Delta State, where the vice presidential candidate of the PDP, the former governor, could not deliver himself in the presidential elections of 2023. This is The Other Side. My name is Romande Shawulu.